A woman steps off a helicopter onto a steel platform 150 miles from land. She'll spend the next 28 days here with 180 men. No weekends, no privacy, no way off. She shares a bathroom with 3 co-workers. She works 12-hour shifts with machinery loud enough to vibrate her ribcage. Her cabin is smaller than a prison cell. This is an offshore oil platform. And for the small number of women who work here, survival isn't just about doing the job. It's about navigating an entire world that wasn't built for them. An offshore platform is 2 places at once. There's the industrial zone, the drill floor, production deck, control room, where the actual work of extracting oil happens. And there's the accommodation block, called the hab, where 120 to 200 people eat, sleep, and try to maintain some version of normal life. The boundary between these 2 worlds is physical. Workers remove their dirty coveralls and steel-toed boots before entering the hab. The air shifts from diesel and brine to climate-controlled sterility. The noise drops from the roar of drilling equipment to the background hum of ventilation systems. But the platform itself never stops. Generators run continuously. Pumps maintain pressure. The entire structure vibrates at a frequency you feel in your chest before you consciously hear it. Pipes wide enough to crawl through snake across every surface. Chains with links weighing hundreds of pounds hang from derricks that tower against the empty ocean in every direction. The helideck is the only way on or off. When the helicopter arrives with fresh crew and supplies, it's a 20-minute window. Miss it, and you're here until the next scheduled flight. Women make up 3 to 5% of the offshore workforce. On this platform, that means somewhere between 3 and 10 women total. Often, a woman is the only female in her department. Sometimes she's the only one on her shift. And she's not here to serve meals or file paperwork. She's a drilling engineer, an ROV pilot operating underwater robotics, a maintenance technician, an HSE advisor managing the safety profile of a facility that could kill everyone on board if a single valve fails. The isolation isn't metaphorical, it's arithmetic. The drill floor is where the platform earns its purpose. This is where pipe sections weighing tons are hoisted into position, where drill bits carve through rock thousands of feet below the seabed, where every surface is either moving or supporting something that is. The noise is constant, not just loud, constant. A low-frequency hum from generators that never shut down. The clank of metal on metal, the roar when the drill engages. Alarms during safety drills cut through everything else. The smell is diesel, brine, ozone from electrical equipment, and industrial lubricants. The air tastes metallic. Everyone wears the same gear. Hard hat, steel-toed boots, safety glasses, fire-retardant coveralls. The uniform depersonalizes. In this environment, you're not male or female. You're a pair of hands on a wrench, a set of eyes on a pressure gauge, a body in a harness working 40 feet above the deck. Shifts are 12 hours, 6 in the morning to 6 at night, or the reverse. 7 days a week. For the entire rotation, typically 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes 28 days. A woman on a 2-week rotation works 14 consecutive 12-hour days. No break, no weekend, no exception. The scale of the equipment makes everyone small. Pipes wide enough to stand inside. Valves that require 2 people to turn. Chains that could crush a car. The ocean in every direction, empty and indifferent. Competence is the only hierarchy that matters here. Can you do the job or can't you? The environment is so overwhelming, so loud, so dangerous, so physically demanding that it supersedes everything else. Gender becomes irrelevant when you're troubleshooting a hydraulic failure in 40-knot winds. Except it doesn't. Not entirely. A woman's mistake might be remembered as a woman's mistake. A man's is just a mistake. This creates a tax, not formal, not written anywhere, but persistent. A low-level pressure to outperform, to be visibly competent, to never give anyone a reason to attribute a failure to anything other than the difficulty of the work itself.
Every 12 hours, the shift changes. The outgoing crew briefs the incoming crew. This handover is a safety ritual, job status, ongoing issues, potential hazards, anything the next shift needs to know to keep the operation running and everyone alive. For a female engineer, this counterpart is almost certainly male. The relationship must be built on absolute trust. He needs to know she'll hand off accurate information. She needs to know he won't dismiss her concerns or second-guess her judgment. The work depends on it. The crossing from the industrial zone back to the hab is a psychological reset. PPE comes off. Coveralls are hung up. Boots stay in the mudroom. You walk through a door, and the person doing the dangerous work becomes the person trying to eat dinner and get 6 hours of sleep before the next shift starts. But the transition isn't clean. The hum follows you. The smell clings to your skin even after a shower. The mental checklist of what needs to happen tomorrow doesn't shut off just because you're no longer standing on the drill floor. The galley runs 24 hours. Multi-course meals are available at any time to accommodate both shifts. The food is famously good. Industry knowledge holds that a well-fed crew is a functional crew, and catering budgets reflect that. There's no segregated seating. You sit where there's an open chair. A drilling engineer might eat breakfast next to a mechanic, a medic, or a control room operator. This is where informal bonds form, where information moves across departments, where the rigid hierarchy of the work zones dissolves into something closer to a neighborhood. For a woman, this is a crucial space. It's where she's seen as a crew member, not an outlier. Conversations here aren't about gender. They're about the job, the food, the weather forecast, and how many days are left in the rotation. The gym is heavily used. 12-hour shifts mean most of your movement is either work-related or intentional exercise. The gym is stress relief. It's also neutral ground, another place where work roles fade, and the thing that matters is just showing up and doing the work of maintaining your body under conditions that are trying to break it down. There's a small cinema, a schedule of movies, a recreation room with pool tables, table tennis, and video game consoles. Sometimes a sauna. These aren't luxuries. They're psychological infrastructure. When you can't leave, you need somewhere to go that isn't your cabin or the drill floor. A standard cabin is built for 2 people. Bunk beds, a small desk, a wardrobe for each person, a television. The dimensions are tight, smaller than most people's bathroom at home. Most modern platforms have en-suite bathrooms, but the layout is a Jack and Jill design. 1 bathroom shared between 2 cabins. 4 people total are using the same toilet, sink, and shower. 2 doors, 1 from each cabin. When someone is inside, both doors lock. The protocol on nearly all modern installations is to designate specific cabins for female workers. A woman will either have a cabin to herself, a rare luxury usually reserved for senior staff or the medic, or she'll share with another woman. Larger, newer platforms have entire hallways or sections designated female only. This provides an extra layer of privacy and reduces the daily negotiation of bathroom logistics. When the connecting cabin is male-occupied, the bathroom becomes a space requiring strict discipline. Knock before unlocking your side. Lock both doors when you're inside. The system works, but it requires constant vigilance. On older rigs, the solutions are less elegant. A woman might be assigned a 2-person cabin by herself, which sounds like an upgrade until you realize it's removing 2 bunks from a crew that's already packed in tight. The infrastructure wasn't designed for mixed-gender crews. Every accommodation is a retrofit. The ideal cabin pairing is opposite shifts. 1 person works days, the other works nights. That means each has the cabin to themselves for 12 hours. Time to sleep without worrying about noise. Time to decompress in private. Time to just be alone in a place where being alone is nearly impossible. The bunk curtain becomes vital. It's a thin piece of fabric, but it creates a micro-environment, a boundary, a signal that even in a shared room, there are limits to how much access another person gets to your space. Personal protective equipment is mandatory, but it doesn't fit. Coveralls are designed for male bodies, broader shoulders, narrower hips. For women, this means fabric that pulls tight across the hips and sags at the shoulders. It restricts movement. It chafes. Gloves are often too large for a proper grip. Boots don't fit correctly, which matters when you're climbing ladders or walking on slick metal grating. Safety harnesses, the equipment that's supposed to catch you if you fall, don't sit correctly around the chest and hips. They're uncomfortable. Worse, they might not function as designed. Some companies now offer female-specific PPE, but availability is inconsistent. On many platforms, women still make do with equipment that wasn't built for them. This isn't just discomfort, it's a safety gap. And it's a daily physical reminder that the infrastructure assumes you're someone else. Menstruation is a logistical reality. Most women bring their own supplies for the entire rotation. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Platform medics stock basics, but not always the specific products a person prefers. Disposal is discreet. From an operational perspective, it's a non-issue, but it requires planning in a way that male crew members don't have to think about. Medical privacy can be a concern. Discussing female-specific health issues with a medic who is often male in a sickbay where privacy is limited creates a barrier. Medics are trained professionals bound by confidentiality, but the psychological comfort of that confidentiality varies. There are 180 people on this platform. 5 of them are women. That ratio creates a duality. Hypervisibility. As a minority, your presence is always noted. Your actions are scrutinized more closely than your male colleagues. You stand out whether you want to or not. Invisibility. There's pressure to blend in, to not cause problems, to be one of the guys, to suppress anything that might draw attention to the fact that you're different, to prove you're not a liability. The proving ground tax is real. A man makes a mistake. It's attributed to the difficulty of the work or a lapse in judgment. A woman makes the same mistake, and it risks being read as evidence that women don't belong here. The tax creates relentless pressure to outperform, to be visibly competent at all times, to never give anyone ammunition. When there are multiple women on board, an informal support network often forms. They share strategies for navigating difficult interactions. They offer perspective when someone is struggling. They provide a kind of solidarity that male colleagues, no matter how well-intentioned, can't replicate. When a woman is the only one, that network doesn't exist. The isolation is exponentially worse. The offshore industry has shifted. The old roughneck culture, coarse, unregulated, built on physical dominance, has been replaced by a modern corporate safety culture. Toolbox talks, time out for safety, formalized communication protocols, process-driven systems that prioritize precision and accountability. This professionalization wasn't designed to help women. It was designed to reduce accidents, but the effect is the same. When the culture values process and respect over bravado, psychological safety improves for everyone. Women benefit not because of special accommodation, but because the baseline expectation is professionalism. Every platform has a medic trained in mental health first aid. Confidential HR hotlines and employee assistance programs are standard. These systems exist because the work is psychologically demanding for everyone, but they provide a formal structure for addressing concerns that might otherwise go unspoken. Modern platforms have Wi-Fi. This is a significant improvement over the old system, a single satellite phone for the entire crew with calls queued and timed. But the bandwidth is limited. It's prioritized for operational needs, video feeds from subsea equipment, data transmission, and system monitoring. What's left over is split among the crew. Messaging apps work. WhatsApp, Messenger, basic texts. Video calls are difficult or outright forbidden to conserve bandwidth. You can message your family every day. You can see the photos they sent. You can read about what's happening at home, but you can't participate. You're connected, but you're not present. Your child has a school event. You know about it in real time, but you're not there. Your partner is dealing with a household crisis. You can offer advice via text, but you can't help. Life continues without you, and you watch it happen from 150 miles offshore on a platform that hums constantly and never lets you forget where you are. The rotation system is the trade-off. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. Some rotations are 28 days on, 28 days off. Workers live on the platform for half the year and have the other half completely free. When you're on, you're 100% focused on the job. When you're off, you're fully disconnected. No emails, no calls, no work. The time off is real. 2 uninterrupted weeks at home. 3 weeks to travel. A month to reset. It's a benefit that no standard office job can offer. But re-entry is hard. You've been gone for weeks. Your family has adapted to your absence. Routines have formed that don't include you. You come home and you're a stranger in your own house. It takes days to reintegrate. And just when you've settled back in, it's time to leave again. The mental compartmentalization required to survive this is immense. You can't let home bleed into work. The distraction could be dangerous. You can't let work bleed into home. You'd never decompress. The ability to fully switch contexts is a skill that develops over time, and not everyone can do it. Respect is the only currency that matters offshore. It's earned through hard work, technical skill, and reliability. By showing up on time, doing the job correctly, staying calm under pressure, and being someone your crewmates can count on. For women, the process is the same. Prove you can do the work. Prove you won't create drama. Prove you're a good hand. Once that respect is earned, gender becomes background noise. It doesn't disappear. The proving ground tax is still there. The PPE still doesn't fit. The arithmetic of being 1 in 30 doesn't change. But the day-to-day experience shifts. You're no longer the woman on the crew. You're just crew. The camaraderie offshore is deep. High-stakes work forges bonds that don't form in low-risk environments. When you've worked a 12-hour shift in rough seas, when you've run emergency drills together, when you've spent weeks in close quarters managing a facility that could fail catastrophically if any one of you makes a serious mistake, those experiences create trust. Women describe immense pride in the work, not pride in being a woman doing it, pride in doing it. Being part of a team that safely manages a billion-dollar operation in the middle of the ocean, in solving complex problems under extreme conditions, in being good at something genuinely difficult. The financial compensation is significant. Offshore salaries far exceed equivalent onshore positions. This is the primary motivator for many workers. The money allows women to buy homes, support families, travel, and achieve economic independence that might otherwise be out of reach. The rotation lifestyle is the second major draw. Uninterrupted blocks of time off, 2 weeks to spend however you want, 3 weeks to focus entirely on family or hobbies or rest, a month to travel without checking email. It's a benefit that compensates for the disconnection and isolation. The career progression is real. Offshore work is cutting edge. The technical experience is highly valued. Many women use offshore rotations as a fast track to senior positions, international opportunities, and roles that wouldn't be accessible through traditional career paths. Women now work across the full technical spectrum offshore: drilling engineers, ROV pilots, maintenance technicians, HSE advisors, offshore installation managers, the highest authority on the platform. The industry's talent shortage is driving this. There aren't enough skilled workers to fill the roles. As platforms become more automated, the work shifts from physical strength to technical expertise. The playing field levels, but the infrastructure still lags. The PPE still doesn't fit. The cabins are still retrofitted. The proving ground tax is still real. Women aren't surviving offshore. They're succeeding. And every rotation, every shift handover, every 12-hour day spent proving competence in an environment not built for them. They're making space for the next generation who won't have to fight quite as hard to prove they belong.